So let's look at the high school version. Instead of calling it the scientific method, we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to call it the scientific process. So instead of having 1 through 7 be like steps, scientific process kind of denotes that we're going to be talking phases rather than a checklist. Our scientific process is going to start with exploration. And that could be, like we did before, a book, a video, something you might find online. Okay? But it could also be data and results you get from others. You could read another scientist's findings and get inspiration that way. You could be exploring. Oh, that's a little creepy. I just got more creepy. But another way to explore things is by observing it. So here, it's going to observe this ant. So our own observations can be a source of exploration. Another way we explore what's around us is we ask questions. So I'm widening the net a little bit. Another way of exploration is sharing and collaborating with others. All right, so you've done your exploration. You've asked questions of the natural world. You've looked at data from similar things, from scientists asking similar questions. You've made your own observations. You've talked to other people. And you may have looked things up in the literature as well. So, now what do? You design an investigation that gives you the opportunity to collect data. And in this process, you're going to be working with a hypothesis. And because you've made that hypothesis, we can then say that in your head, you have an expected result. But as we know, sometimes things don't always go as expected, but sometimes they do. So we also have to include actual results, because sometimes these could be different from your expected results. once we have gathered our data, so once we have gotten our actual results, the results that we observed, what we have to do with that, oh gosh, that was so bad. After we have our observations, nope, delete that. After we have made our hypothesis and collected our data, we get our actual results. And with this, the next step is to move on to interpret the data. Because collecting data is great, but if you don't do anything with it, then what was the point? So if we're going to be interpreting our data, we may be surprised by our results. Our results may be contradictory to the expected results. Or they could support the expected results. So maybe what we had found was that the actual results kind of equal the expected results. So that would be supporting our hypothesis. Another thing that interpreting data could allow us to do is it could help us develop or revise our hypothesis or our assumptions about how we understand things to work.